Did you got the map, figured out where we were?
I was talking to a right now and I had a sidewalk.
What?
I don't know. We used to. That'd be the border, if we right around.
You know.
We are now, actually.
Feels like you're gonna have to switch names next.
Oh, yeah.
No.
There's Jim's
This
here.
guy is giving up opening day of bow season.
Good, how are you?
Delivered today.
Opening day of bow season to be here. Like, it's the day the boys are riding their dirt bikes up and down the trails.
Sick county.
Yeah.
What did he say? No, but they're.
Good.
They're not big.
You don't know.
Charlie, how's it going?
Great, how about you?
You're running around.
Oh my God.
No, you're right. I don't, I haven't known which day it's out, it's been. It has been changing, and so I did not go. This is the first year.
That's the next good deal. Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. How's everybody doing? So if you'd like to start, Clint?
Want some roll call, do you?
Yep.
Austin Boudreau. Karen DeForest.
Here.
Jake Bryant. Here. Colt Ridenhour. Here. Christina Kress.
Here,
Jim Slavall.
Yes.
Landon Brown. Here. How about Jeff Rhodes?
Yes.
Jeff Peters. Here.
Nice.
You got a quorum and then some.
Do we need Don?
Yeah, we started without him before, but
Okay.
that's your call.
Are we you wanna run through the Minneapolis Senate meeting, please? Are we online?
that's where you're sitting.
Oh, okay.
So please turn your cell phones off or vibrate. They're talking this when we go back farther.
Yeah, you can start there.
Okay. Please turn your cell phones off or vibrate. Please keep conversation to a minimum and when necessary, as quiet as possible. Meetings are recorded. Information concerning the agenda and applications are available on the table near the entrance. Restrooms are located on the north and south ends of the hallway. Exits located at the north end of the community center. Please sign in and include your mailing address. Staff presents an application. Petitioner speaks for the application. Members of the public may speak in favor or opposition to the application. Plan Commission member may question administrators. Petitioner may address questions and concerns. No new evidence presented. Motion is made. A second is received. Discussion will commence. Amendments may be made. Voting will take place and the result will be announced. That needs for me to say.
Oh, that's great. We did.
Please speak only when at the podium. Don's here. State your name and address. Speak only to the chair. Be brief and speak to the topic and discussion. Be mindful there is a speaking time limit. We have two sets of minutes tonight too. One from August 6th and one from September 10th.
Right,
I'm sure I
right.
have those in front of you.
Yeah, and they're emailed out to everybody. So yeah, we'll move on to reading and approval of minutes. We have two sets, the August meeting and the September meeting. We saw the August minutes last month,
Yeah.
but
Let me know.
we didn't have time. But we did have so that was resent by the team along with the September minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review?
Vote to approve August and September minutes as presented.
Okay,
I'll second that.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed?
Does it matter that I abstained? I abstained because I wasn't here for one of those meetings.
The abstention is noted. Thank you.
Hold on. Yep, now it is.
Okay. I'll move on to reports, mine first. Don, do we have any news on the third basin?
Briefs were submitted Monday, yesterday, or 2 days ago. Was a deadline for our brief to be due. And now it's waiting for the judge's decisions. I think there's going to be oral argument scheduled in another few days, but then it'll be up to the judge to make the decisions.
Okay, cool. Any questions on that for anybody? I keep on getting, kind of random emails and questions about it. So that's a good update. Thank you. The other thing is that we were notified by the commissioners that they were sending back our AFO ordinance recommendations, and you all have a memo that's sitting in front of you that is between the commissioners and Charlie. I'm not sure how to handle this. Charlie, do we know what the definitional changes were that they wanted?
Not exactly. That's basically all I got as far as the changes to be made.
Okay, so you didn't get them in time, so the next one, we will get what the changes are. And we actually have a procedural vote on that then? So it's,
Open it back up, right, Don? It's brand new, basically.
okay, so they are asking us to make a change, so we are gonna make one more change to it and then pass it along again for full approval.
Or not make change.
Or not make the change, right? Yeah, I shouldn't insinuate anyways. Okay, I guess we really don't know what their answers are.
Well, it sounds like recommendations. You don't have to recommend it, what they want to say.
It sounds like they're asking if it's like one particular species, or can it just say a combination of all species? So like, I think we got like 300 units total.
I wasn't at the meeting, I was gonna go back and.
That does sound like what they're doing, and we talked about that today, and that's why we didn't put anything in writing for you, because we don't really know how to word that. Because it does sound like they don't want 300 chickens, 599, or no, 299 cows, 199, whatever the numbers are, I'm sorry. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. And they don't want all that on one parcel. But I don't know that that's exactly what they're saying or not. Because right now you could have 200 cows, 500 chickens. Is that what they were saying?
They were unclear whether you could have a maximum number of cattle, maximum number of hogs, maximum number of chickens, maximum number of rabbits or whatever.
I think for an AFO, you could. CFO, I don't believe you can, but for what we've got, I think you could at this moment.
Yeah.
So we need to add something that says, or a total of this, because an attorney could say, well, it doesn't say, it says this, this, and
It's
this.
generally not gonna happen.
I don't think it's, I don't think you can say, you can't do that.
If you have cows, you can't have chickens. That's what I was kind of wondering if we could say that.
And you can't put a maximum because your maximum, because then, so I think the definition as it states is accurate. You would have to allow that. I mean, you can't.
You don't think you could pass an ordinance that says you can't have this, a combination of this amount over a certain number total?
Well, no, because if you're ever chickens, right, you would have, like, that would be a huge number versus cattle.
29,000.
So if you decided to be a chicken farmer and Jake decided to be a cattle farmer, you would, like, the number wouldn't be the same for both.
Well, it could be one or the other, couldn't it? You have what we already have, and then with the maximum, so whatever the maximum number is, the rabbits probably 500, say no more than 500 head of anything.
Oh, we
And no
could
more.
put a cap on that, I guess. That would make sense.
Right, because that's what they're asking.
I mean, that's what it appears what they're asking, yes, that, that you can't have.
You can have 199 cows, no more than 500 animals total.
Right.
Whether it be rabbits, chickens.
But I can't believe you would have a combination. You got yourself, your cattle farmers, you got your chicken farmers.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
They're not gonna combine.
You're not
just
sharing the
to
same ground.
You wouldn't just do to the.
But you can see where the argument would come from, right?
Yes.
So, okay,
Where
well,
logic goes to normal, like this is what I
That's
do,
true.
right? There's always that exception to
Right.
that logical thought in this
True.
world, unfortunately.
okay, well, anyway, so, but that was part of my report, so we'll have that to be able to review by next month. And then I guess if we have to have any other, feedback or discussion, how to approach that, but we can do that in that meeting. That's all I had to report. Does anybody have any questions for me? We should catch everything else in the, coming to the next reports. So we'll go through the rest of the committee reports, the city county liaison report. Gentlemen?
Yeah, our next meeting is Monday. Only thing that's on the docket is to review the new athletic bubble at Trine University.
I submitted the report from the last meeting.
Yeah, I think we just had some zoning changes and,
I don't believe.
G.I. Jody's, what I know is G.I.
Oh,
Jody.
that's
That's
right.
ETJ.
The follow-up.
Yeah, that was, that was a plan for an.
Building, because they approved the change of the part that.
Right, and I think, they were going to put on an addition to that building.
Yeah,
So
it
where
was
does
always
that,
part of their plan.
where does that actually end? Because I thought Frank Angola High School, which is just catty corner from that, is the city limit.
They're on the east side of
Yeah.
100 East.
So on the east side is
Right.
not, the north
You're
side
right.
of that.
Oh, I think it's the east side of 100.
It is.
Yeah, the east side of 100, the west side of it is the city limits.
I think so, yeah.
I was just trying to understand what
Down
the
the center
problem
of the
was.
street.
It was weird, like they were the only parcel that was maybe agriculture or residential, and they're going more for a commercial type.
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing, and it didn't change much, it just the details exactly. It added for the addition, much more simple for them to
Right.
do there. What is it, their main business now?
Liquidation.
Liquidation, yeah, like, so retail stuff that's marked down significantly.
I haven't been in there since it was.
Yeah, I told
in Cherry Trophy,
I haven't been-
like in high school.
It's interesting to hear about it.
Okay, so thanks, guys. Any questions for Austin or Jeff with regard to Sioux County liaison? Okay, move on to Drainage Board.
Yeah, a lot of good things are happening. We're meeting, doing some follow-up cleanup with NIPSCO meeting on Friday. There's still a few broken tiles south of town we're getting taken care of. And bigger news, we moved into Mulligan's today up by Lake James because of our new Sarah Nova development that's going in. We actually have sufficient funds. We got well over $200,000 that I don't plan to spend, but we can work on that drainage system going from the Sarah Nova development by Meyer all the way in through the golf course and all that to Lake James to just do some bank stabilization, some tree removal. And so it's good to finally have a little money to be able to do some pre-maintenance on that. So that's a good thing. So
Do you have any type of summary of that I can share with Lake James Association?
I do not. I will tell you, I've been in correspondence with city, with Amanda and Chris and even Retha too. So I can do something like
And
that.
being the watershed head for Lake
Absolutely.
James, they're all up in arms about it.
No, and I think this is, I think it falls together well. We got some money to make sure it's all.
So it's not
Gonna be really
rerouting, it's
No, it is
rerouting
not
water to
it
James,
is-
it's just
it is.
correcting the way that it flows to James.
It is just doing some general maintenance on it where some banks have been eroding.
There was,
Yeah.
you know where the project's going on, right?
So Sarah Nova, they own all out there by Meyer and all.
Remember what it was
Correct.
before? Out last year. And so-
I guess I never thought of that being a cow patch. I mean, it was, but
It
I
was.
never thought about it.
And so that's what flows into Lake James through the golf course. Lake James Golf Course.
That's amazing.
And always done testing there, and it's always been some issues. And now they're concerned that the issues are going to get worse somehow, that this project's going on, it's gonna be commercialized, but the sound of things, it's very well.
The water should be cleaner.
Should be.
It should be.
Ponds going in.
Because there were, there's gonna be several of them.
Regular testing.
And does that flow Lake James, to the channel before Lake James?
It's a ditch, essentially. It's one of like-
Is there a time limit on it testing? Like, are they agreeing to do the testing for so many years?
I mean, it just, at some point, we'll try to add it twice a year for, I didn't see an end date.
Yeah, I just was curious. I mean, if it, so say if it's good for 5 years, you'd have to continue to do that. I don't, that's.
So just to clarify, not all of, it's just the first phase of where they're doing that flows into Lake James. The second phase in the far east side that'll come later, that will go over towards the east of Pigeon Lake. So, but this is the most critical, I believe, this first phase. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Has anybody from the press talked to you about that?
Sure. So they have not, but I will tell you that the plans are right now in review. I sent it out for secondary review to Christopher Burke and Associates. And am I correct in saying this, Clint, that Christopher Burke pretty much writes the drainage code? So
We were talking about that before. I think you're, I don't know 100% if you're accurate. It sounds like-
I believe that is correct. So Christopher Burke is the ones to review that plan. They're the ones who, so.
But I agree with Austin. I mean, I think that this is ripe for a big update.
Oh, absolutely, sure. Yeah,
Just, a lot of conversations on Lake James about it, so.
there has been. Yeah.
So
So
we just,
hopefully they're
on
listening.
Saturday, we had our
Okay.
monthly meeting. It's come up every week.
And it has, sure.
Since the project got kicked off. Cool.
And I'd be glad to come some Saturday too if I need to.
I'll let you know, but I can report this.
Okay, good deal. Any questions more for Jim? Very helpful. Plat committee,
This morning,
oh, you guys did meet this morning. Okay, good.
this morning we had
Three.
three.
Yeah.
Three.
Yeah.
What, that's what's here to final sign now then?
Yep.
Okay, great. Gosh, I love it when that,
Went real fast.
because I was there. I get it. But other than that, then we're up to date then, right, Charlie?
Yes.
Great. Any questions about the plat committee? Okay. Board of Zoning Appeals, Karen, anything with that?
We have one, and it's for an accessory building that they don't have property within 300 feet, if I'm correct.
Correct.
I could ask Landon too.
I try to put that stuff out.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Really?
I found the place, that's all I care. That took us longer. You're not gonna like it, so it's within 300 feet, we'd have never known because we couldn't find the place, but we finally found it.
Okay, any questions for Karen or Landon? Okay, before we move into unfinished business, I'd like to bring the petitioner item from unfinished business back up to, I guess, yeah, it is unfinished business, I'm sorry. But let's move that to the beginning of the list, then we'll cover everything else. Can I have a motion to change the agenda?
So I'll second.
Okay, a motion to moved and seconded to change the agenda. Any discussion? None? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, so we're moving you guys back up, okay? So if you guys recall from last meeting, some questions that came up from Commissioner Laughlin about the vacation of the property. And basically, we've received a response, but let's, I guess, start out by, if we can have a motion to take it off the table. Second. Yeah, and then we'll have a discussion about what we heard from Chip about the question.
So moved, Karen.
Okay.
Second.
Jim, okay. Okay, so discussion on taking the item off the table. It was tabled based on, and Don, tell me if I'm talking too much. It was tabled based on the information we needed to get back from Chip with regard to the vacation of the cul-de-sac and whether or not it was used by the highway department at all. Okay? So is that your
Voting on whether to take the petition off the table.
right?
So you could
I
discuss.
think we already did that.
Well, we already did
We
that.
never voted.
No, we didn't know. So we're in discussion about the motion to take it off the table. Okay? Any questions about what Chip has said? Let me, for the record, basically communication between Annie Laughlin and Chip. And it happened, okay, so it's, so I checked it out already and good with the vacation is the message from Chip to Andy. Okay?
So wait, I thought we were voting on taking it off to be able to discuss that.
Before you can discuss.
Correct. We haven't untabled it yet. There was a
Okay, I was gonna use
motion.
this because, well, okay, I
So we
understand.
need to vote.
I'll do that. And we can do it either way, because then if you guys don't vote it off the table, then it dies. It's the same way as if it comes off the table, we vote on it and it's declined, it would die. Okay, so same thing, different track. And I'll take your recommendation.
Oh,
So-
I apologize. I wasn't, because I was, okay, I
No, that's
apologize.
okay, because it sounds like you might have more discussion than that, so let's vote on taking it off the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it's back off the table, okay?
And I apologize. I
No,
wasn't here
that's
last
okay.
week,
That's
last
okay.
month, and so.
So we can start over by having the petitioner give their summary of why they're asking for vacation.
I'm ready to make a motion.
What's that?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Move to approve the petition for vacation for the Flagpole.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
This is where I can ask a
And then
question,
I can
right?
ask discussion on the motion.
Chip said that he agreed with the vacation.
Yes.
Correct. Chip Porter from the highway department. Yeah.
And did you explain to him? I mean, you just.
Yeah, he explained because I was
Like
like,
cul-de-sac, yeah.
it looks like something, but I was, okay.
And I mean, it was, a good double check of the process for us, okay? Any other questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so that'll be recommended to the commissioners and we'll notify the petitioners on that basically.
They're sitting.
Yeah, we'll get it on the docket.
Okay, good deal. So thanks, everybody. You guys had to come back just for that.
That's fine.
You can smile.
Maybe we leave now.
You can, yeah. Good seeing you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
You left your water.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move back to unfinished business. Quinn, do we have any updates on the ETJ?
Nothing on ETJ.
Floodplain ordinance update.
Yes. We have a meeting Monday morning at 8:30?
Yeah.
This coming Monday, like?
Yeah.
Okay, Monday morning at 8:30 with the director of the Maumee River Basin Commission, Rod Rinkenberger. I believe that committee is Jeff, Karen, Austin, and Ian. So I believe you guys have been cut in on the email string,
No, they have not.
but it's Monday.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I didn't know about
Okay,
it. I didn't take responsibility forward.
So we'll get the email out, but it's Monday at 8:30 a.m.
Where at?
Well,
Where at?
either our archive or not, it'll be in this building, so just come to the
Well, I
office.
just didn't know.
Yeah, come to the office. Rod Ringenberg
Yeah.
and the Maumee River Basin Commission doesn't have a dog in the fight, other than they work on a lot of grants. And if we opt out, I think a lot of his grants will go by the wayside. So what Rod has offered to do is act as a liaison basically between the state and ourselves on that. Additionally, we've already sent the copy to Jessica, our liaison from the state, and she forwarded on to her bosses. We have not heard back anything on that yet. So we got kind of two fronts on the floodplain thing going there. So if Rod acts on our behalf with the DNR, we told him some of the things we were not satisfied with the DNR. Part of the stuff on the floodplain, and I also told him when we were talking, I said, listen, it's not just me, it's coming from the board, and we've got public complaints about their lack of responsiveness. So they're expecting us to help them out, when we call and have a real issue. If they do check it out, they don't check with us, they don't give us any updates. We don't know what's ever happening up here in Allen County. I think they just don't show up personally. But
No, as soon as we question them, they kind of stop.
yeah. So he's gonna try to get us back into good graces. And I explained to him, this is not just Clint being Clint. I've gone off the rails before and had issues and stuff. And this is not me. That's why I would love this committee here. Everybody that can come Monday morning that's on that committee. We could have more, other than we're not allowed to have any more than 4. It's official meeting, we get in trouble. So those 4, if somebody can't make it, and Jeff, you want to appoint somebody else, we got a few days to figure this out. But 8:30 Monday morning here.
And Austin, you were kind of surprised by that. Are you able to make that?
I pulled up my phone at my office. I cannot.
Oh, wait, go get it.
I got a call scheduled at 8:30 every Monday that I have no problem missing, so I should be okay.
Perfect. Okay, so this is like, again, another kind of watershed, no pun intended, point for this, for the whole group that we've had doing this for 2 years.
And another thing Rod was interested on was the AFO, because again, he works on grants for other counties. I don't think he has a direct dog in that fight either, but it's probably something where he wants to spread it around to his people that he deals with. And also, as we discussed just a minute ago when Jim was talking, as far as I know, historically at least, they may have changed because I haven't been in contact with them as often, but the in-house engineer firm for Maumee River Basin Commission is Christopher Burke, which should tie all that back in together. So hopefully if we bring up that stormwater stuff and those technical aspects, we can get a little help on that as well. So
Yeah,
this could be a very beneficial meeting Monday morning. We'll see.
Right. And it was, just for the board, I've been in on the emails. It's confusing as heck. So we'll get this summarized, after we get it all figured out, because it was the floodplain, but then the AFO stuff, they want, to hear about, they were interested in seeing how, the manure plants were going to be working and things like that. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
The state or? Yeah, so it's the river basin people wanted to.
I'm assuming it's the other people within the river basin.
Yeah.
Like I know for a fact DeKalb's working on some kind of
So
something.
they heard what we were doing and it went to the state, but then bounced back to these guys. So
Because of the same, we've seen them multiple times here visiting for things, right? Not
Yes,
just this.
yes.
It's been a while, but
This
yeah.
committee,
Yep. I worked in a ton of the past when I was at Cal, because we're a sliver up in the Maumee, so we're mostly in the
Right.
St. Joe. But when I was down there, we were in the Maumee with the sliver in the St. Joe, so I dealt with him a lot more down there than I have here. I've worked with him a ton.
Well, and if everybody remembers, when we had the subcommittee, they were actually part of the discussion, but they were never here. You know, and Kevin and I forget who else, but that was, you know, kind of a point that both sides used, saying, well, no, we use them, and you know, the Lakes people say the same thing. So anyway, okay, so that's good. What's the hope? You know, so we'll just get notification back from them at some point after this meeting, and then we'll finalize and send it to the commissioners.
Well, we'd have to hear back from the state to make sure they passed it. And then it would come back in front of you as a complete do-over, brand new read. And then whatever shape that turns out in, then it goes to the commissioners, and then it goes back to the state. So we're kind of preemptively sending it to the state to make sure that once it's adopted, they're gonna approve it. Because they may not approve it.
Well, okay. Okay, so then, as we talked about, was also just the procedure manual that goes along with it.
Oh, that's the stormwater side. Yes.
Okay, that's a short
And
one.
that's what Christopher Bush wrote
Okay.
that. And we're
Okay.
hoping they'll see.
They'll just stamp. And then
We're
we'll
gonna
do-
ask.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, and that, okay, so that was the floodplain. Any questions about that? Again, the communication's a little confusing, but we will kind of close it up after the meeting on Monday at 8:30.
Yes. We'll get some kind of.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe we'll
it's
make
just that
Tara
we're
come in.
writing new ordinances, dealing with floodplain.
And the ordinance is
dealing
already
with
written.
stormwater. Correct.
Yeah, and that's already written too. They're both already done. We're just.
We're in the process
We're
of
making
trying
sure
to
they
do
get back
all
with
the
the
checks
people
so
that-
that we can then give them to the commissioners, so commissioners can make them part of our ordinances.
So we can
That's
say,
what we're hoping.
Correct.
we want to go in
That
with,
was a lot of talk.
everybody's approved it, so just approve it. Okay.
June 23rd, 2003, I just looked at the first
Yes.
email before it came over.
Yes,
Yeah, it started
it's been a long time.
But I think, you know,
23.
nobody says government's efficient.
It's a long time.
Not supposed to be.
Okay, so
That's not
the
true.
stormwater ordinance.
Do you have a degree in political science? Do you know for a fact that the founding fathers
Oh,
wrote
boy,
a
here we
bureaucratic campaign that infringe upon our rights? Uh-huh.
Yes, that'll be. Stormwater ordinance, the draft, and again, this is same thing, we're in a position where it needs to be reviewed, so.
And well, we're just, like I said before, it's gonna be part of that whole process with the floodplain and with the AFO. We're in the same holding pattern with all three of those documents.
They're gonna be impressed with Steuben County.
I hope so, or we're very unimpressed. You know.
Got those eggs.
You guys are getting a lot of work done. Okay, and then, so any questions about that? So again, we're in a good position, if we can push to get before the end of the year, that'd be awesome,
That would be awesome.
okay? We keep saying that though.
2023.
Last fall, that was in June, right?
Well, I remember saying here that in 2023 and 2024. Now we're on 2025.
We just keep hitting.
Can I just confirm one other thing? Berkey's the attorney that we hired.
Who?
When you guys keep talking, who's
Oh,
the
Burke, that's an
attorney?
engineering firm.
Engineering.
Our attorney's Brandon Almus, and he's hired through HPG.
I just knew there was somebody that was helping us. I just
Yes.
was trying to connect in that
The
conversation.
stuff we
Who
sent
is him?
on, the stormwater and the floodplain, both we sent on, I think were drafted by him.
Yeah.
And we did the AFO in-house.
Yes.
So nobody's really helping us, but it was our it's our baby, so there would really be nobody to help us, because nobody's done that before. Well, maybe with Brandon.
LaGrange.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other ordinance updates? You know, bring them on. Let's start. Any other ones we need to start talking about?
We do have one.
Isn't there the nuisance one or?
Yeah, we're working on the new.
We're working on it.
Okay.
It's a high dumpster fire garbage and a mess. It's old. It's just outdated.
Yeah.
Points to a lot of old ordinances that don't exist. State code is no longer valid. So I mean, technically, if you just wanted an update and we pointed to the proper state statutes and whatnot, we could do it that way without making any changes. But I think when we discussed it, we wanted to make changes. So
Let's get rid of floodplain and stormwater, and then we'll add it as an actual item.
there you go.
I don't want to add another finished item yet. Okay. Any other questions about ordinance updates?
Did the setbacks get changed officially?
Yep. It was 20 instead of 25. The land and Brown amendment.
Yeah.
That's how you get stuff done. Just funnel it through the land in there.
Made a plat.
Hey, it's concrete.
Yeah, that's the next one.
That's a big,
Yes, and I've
we
been-
talked about
Impervious, we need to start looking at that, I guess.
Yes.
We've had many discussions, just when we just keep banging our head against the wall. I don't
But we
honestly.
have to,
Somebody has to do something.
because
Is that how much surface they can cover?
Yeah.
There.
Well, right, yeah, because right now we're at 35% for impervious and.
For the structure, and then
For the
50%
structure,
overall with all your other.
Which is where we're getting to be.
But then they go over when they pour a driveway later, because we don't require permits on anything less than 8 inches.
Right, or you suggesting pulling it back? Or you suggest, okay.
Well, there's two
Yes.
options.
I
One,
wanted to make sure we weren't going the other way.
I mean,
No.
the other option, this is this the right time to talk about this? Is there a better, there's, I mean.
Yeah, no, we have no more business, so yeah, for the.
Well, no,
And I
no,
have-
so, but the other option, and this would go back to our revenue issue, is why don't we look into, like, every other county, not every other county, several other counties do permits for flat work for, like, do driveway permits.
We tried moving down that road once before, we had a big meeting, and it just died, just like a deflated balloon.
Well,
No, I think it's great.
how does it have to die? If we establish a new permit requirement for flat work,
No, we brought it to this board in a different setup, and it just crickets.
we think.
needs to happen.
Maybe on new construction, as far as replacing existing, there's so
I don't-
much of that going on.
Yeah, but the
Are you
issue-
just talking residential zones too?
Oh, yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, that's the main one.
The
We
issue
do
that
have
we have
standards.
is.
Because around the lakes, you just come and they covered it all.
Right.
Yes.
Well, so, and we do have, like, we've had some before where they bought back lots and it's contiguous, and so you have, their whole front lot is concrete or solid surface, but they have 5 acres behind, so they're still less than their 35% or 50%. However, the issue lies in that most contractors are well aware that there is a loophole that you can build a house with no driveway, and your driveway as stone would count as it's actually 50% of the actual total, so if you have 1,000 square foot driveway, it only counts as 500 square foot.
Well, it depends on what it's made out of. It's concrete,
Depending.
so yeah, if it's gravel.
If it's
yeah.
gravel.
Yeah. But if
So
it's concrete,
they will do a gravel driveway, they'll build the house, you're under your coverage area, then they come back and we don't require a permit for flat work, and they'll fill the driveway with concrete.
That makes sense why so much stuff is covered in concrete around the lake. I didn't know how it happened.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if it's a loophole, but I mean, that's what
But
happens.
So if a person would want to, though, they could pretty much cover their whole entire driveway with concrete because there is no permit for concrete.
Less than 8 inches, right? But Allen County requires driveway permit.
Can you imagine that?
Well, we require on the highway, but it has nothing to do with the actual physical driveway. It's a
Yeah, you require a.
Yes.
But we talked,
We got this.
and we talked about that in the stormwater as well. Impervious
Oh, it's
surface and how much percentage it is, but this would actually separate each from the stormwater.
Well, it probably should be in both places with the ordinance, because it's tied right to zoning, so it'd be something we'd have to have it in the zoning ordinance. I mean, the way we regulate it now, Christine, in case you're new to this, since we don't require a permit, but we do regulate it, then when you come back in to get a shed or a garage or something like that, we make you resubmit the calculation. And if you did that whole loophole thing, then you're over this time, we can bust you and deny you that permit.
But you can't make them take it out.
But we can't make them take it out because anything up to less than 8 inches is regulated.
Which then increases our issue. Like, then it all goes back to stormwater, all goes back to drainage, all goes back
Which I
to.
think is an enormous issue. I mean, it's such a big issue.
Right.
We have dealt with, look, I am with you that is what we should do. How do we start that process?
Well, no, and I think that's why this is a good discussion. So
I
this
think
board,
great about it.
this board can bring items like that. Do you ever get, recommendations from the public, or, that you get so many calls about something that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as you think, because people don't see the big picture a lot of times. When it floods, they're worried about their water or neighbor's water getting on them, and I get it. So as far as people saying, oh, what is the cause? So a lot of times we get those calls, we don't know what the cause is. I mean, unless there's certain addresses where we know, like Lake George, there's one that looks like a egg on water park. But other than that, we don't know what everybody's done throughout this county. It's a big county. So we don't know if it's that or something else. I mean, I've had it to the point where right down the road from my house, there were a bunch of easements, those 10-footers. They closed them all. They filled them up with concrete and steps, and then called the county when it looked like a waterfall going down those concrete steps, which that easement was supposed to be for drainage back in the day. They vacated it. Now the water's going where it's supposed to, but since it's concrete instead of tile or grass or whatever, it's ugly. And we're like, well, you did it. I don't know what to tell you. And it's probably a violation. But yeah, if you guys want to front page this, I mean, I'll get like King Concrete and some others on the phone and say, hey, what you got for me? How can we work with this? Because King's been a real good ally for us. He does great work, and when we call him and ask questions, he knows, because he works elsewhere too. So, I mean, we can start that process and get another meeting. Like I said, we had this meeting. It was a big discussion back in like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, well, yeah.
Literally, we brought it up and there were just crickets. And I was like, okay, apparently we're not gonna do this. We didn't get a motion to continue talking about it or anything. It was just,
I think you're gonna find a lot of adversity from contractors. It's a pain in the butt to have to go down and pull a permit for flat work or something like that, but at the end of the day, we're not making people tear out driveways. Have we ever?
Why don't you just presume, when you do your calculations, that certain number of feet from the garage to the road is presumed to be,
Concrete.
yes.
The other thing, well, and it's,
Then you don't have to go through the whole permitting process. You just presume it when you do your calculation.
I mean, we have that for cars, you know,
Mhm.
a vehicle per bedroom or a spot per bedroom, right? Like the issue therein lies, again, when you have long driveways or long setbacks or houses that sit further back from the road, and then, you know, how do you
Nobody's gonna build a $500,000 house with a gravel driveway.
I mean,
Yeah, but where
I don't
It might
where you see it is on the lake, though. That's where it's really happening. All their secondary buildings, their other garages. I'm just thinking of Bayview. Yeah, Bayview, that's all freaking 440. That's,
Lane 340.
oh.
Our Paris is a $2 million house, you can't even have a concrete driveway to get in.
Really?
Oh,
That's
because
on
she
the
built,
builder, because the
because she
house
built
is
her
too
house too big.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was all at once.
Right, well, that's the thing I
That
think
wasn't
will help
coming
too.
back. So like, right,
We gotta do something.
yeah, but at the end of
And
it.
now all.
So according to all this, she could, in a year, put in a driveway without, there's no way for us to stop her from coming back and putting a driveway in.
As long as
Yeah,
the shallow
but-
permit's final, then the
Correct.
certificate of occupancy has been issued here, then it's closed, and the next time they build.
I think we've got it at
Right.
least,
That's.
at least consider putting a hard
Because it
surface
gets
at the road.
water flowing way too
Because
fast.
it's not right what she's battling, just for example, all that gravel is washing right down to the neighbors. Because
Well, I guess back to, I mean, there could be a provision that the assumption is that from the front of the house, well, like, I gotta use lakeside, so the back of the house to the road is presumed to be solid surface. And no matter whether you put it there or not, but that factors into your calculation.
road right away.
But yeah, or whatever, you know, however far back,
When they stop at the road, right?
within reason, but then again, it goes back to Jake's point about redos and tearing driveways out and adding driveways that are on new construction, because there's a lot of that stuff around too, people.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I still don't think I mean, like I said, contractors are gonna wanna come in and pull permits. However, if you don't force them to pull a permit, we're never going to be able to enforce it, because we're never gonna go back and say, hey, you're over your 50%, pull your driveway out.
Correct. So could you have it where on new construction, that is assumed, like Don said, but on existing construction, you have to have a permit?
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Like, that separates it, does that, and then that would never happen to her, because her builder would have never been able to build the house the size it was, because we would have assumed that we would have said, no, this much is driveway,
Yeah, the builder should be aware.
right? I mean, that would take care of it in new construction, and it would have protected her.
Yeah.
If that's how it was.
Yeah.
But it protects us from the fact that once she's closed, that she doesn't go around and put it in anyways. Correct.
You know
Does
what-
that make sense?
You know what that might do? That might be double beneficial. Because if we're already counting the driveways impervious surface, that's gonna cut down on the amount of stuff they can put on their house wise. And therefore, a lot of the side yard setbacks and variances for setback would be a moot point, because you're already over on impervious surface. They're filling up those lots with house.
Yes,
That's what you guys are seeing at the BZA.
yes.
So if we assume that driveway is concrete, make them calculate it, it would probably either cut down or greatly increase the number of, at first it would probably greatly increase, but over time it would cut down on variances.
What do you mean variances to BCA? Because.
Yeah, because you think about it, every square foot you calculate as driveway and assume that it's there is a square foot they have to take off the house.
Yeah.
If the lot within, I mean,
But yeah, on the lots that count.
if they're on the lots, those count, yeah. Which are where we see a vast majority of our properties.
Right.
So you're gonna see an increase in variances, because everybody's gonna come in for an impervious variance that they wanna go over the 50%. And then the Board of Zoning Appeals then would have to.
So all lane 105, all gravel driveways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they could still have the gravel, but we're gonna count that as.
No, I'm just saying,
But we're
practicality, that's not real.
I mean, from a homeowner standpoint though, now you're gonna start forcing choices though. Cause you're gonna start restricting choices, cause now they can't choose whether they want a gravel driveway or more square footage of house.
Well, but you
I'm just-
know that they're gonna come in to put concrete. Like Don said, a house that costs that much, you know they're gonna want concrete.
We're bringing this all up for funding or for stormwater?
For stormwater, drainage on the lakes. I mean,
Drainage,
it's
I'm on board
horrible.
because of the water issues. on
That's the other
drainage.
half. I only asked because he brought it up for getting.
Well, I mean, could we put it
No.
as just lake residential?
Right.
See, why not?
Can it just be a lake
It could be
residential?
kind of its own.
Yeah, that's where it matters.
Absolutely.
That's our issue. I mean, I don't think we have the issue in the rural counties, you know, so
Well,
that's
no,
what Holt would say.
And then this is important from, an overall planning perspective. What kind of planning do you want to have that protects, what we've got now? You got to manage the growth, so you want to give people the ability to build, but then it still has to be responsible, so you don't have all the water runoff from their new builds. I mean, yeah, like I said.
And that's easier for us to regulate than on the back end too.
I agree.
I mean, in the short term, it's gonna be a nightmare for the board, it's gonna be a nightmare for my office, but I think in the long run, once these guys start figuring this stuff out, because the contractors know. So it's even some of our best contractors, I'm not gonna use their names, where I do an inspection, I know it's gonna be right. I also know the day we issue the C of O, that concrete truck's gonna be sitting there spinning at the end of the driveway. One of those things. You don't wanna get bang on them too hard, because they are the good ones, but they know the loopholes.
Never underestimate the contractor's ingenuity.
Mhm.
I've noticed that over the 20-some years, so.
Anybody's ingenuity to make money.
Mhm.
So what's the first step for us?
This, and then we'll get something in writing and you guys can look, or if somebody on the board wants to take up the mantle, you can put it in writing. But we'll probably do it. I make sure Tara's taking this down as notes, that's why I gave her the signal earlier, so I want to make sure I keep this straight. What we would probably do is next month or the month after, have something, you just like a bullet point and thumbnail sketch, and if you're cool with that, we'll put it in ordinance format, and then we'll start the process. So that would probably be, in a perfect world, it was quick, probably January, February, I would think.
So the ones that are in-
Not 2.5 years.
No, and there's,
With planning, we always automatically non-conforming, we can't do all of that.
DNR isn't involved.
so I guess, yeah, I
They'd
mean,
be
so.
worried about their water.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we can sing the song, we're only a bill sitting on a company. But we can, if we wanted to move faster, I can always appoint a subcommittee that can actually write it, bring it to this board as well. So, we can rely on the staff, but then, if we want to have, that'll shorten the process. Otherwise it goes month by month, for us to be able to do the work on
If you
it.
do it that way, probably cut a month off the end, it would probably be December, January, rather than January, February, most likely, I would think.
Okay.
As long as we got that committee established and met before the next plan commission meeting, then we're right back.
Is
in
it
the January.
easier for you to do it the way that you laid it out? Bring us bullet points by the next meeting? And then if we say, yes, we like the bullet points, then the next meeting after that, you write the ordinance and then it comes to us again? Is that the best way for you?
Because what I'm gonna do is check with Tara, make sure her notes are good, have Charlie put in some kind of format, then I'm gonna review it, make tweaks and then back to him. So yeah,
Well,
we
I'm
would do that.
asking you which way you would prefer. Would you prefer for there to be a committee and,
I would prefer that you guys do it,
Okay.
just because we're at the end of the building time. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna,
so we
no
have
matter
time.
what, we're going to have it during the winter when you're not gonna be putting in concrete.
That's a valid point. Stay blanket it, yeah.
And I think that's great.
I would say we work on like a lake residential ordinance, but I still think a flat work permit is not a bad idea. For like down the road.
We could work on those separately.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the ordinance update for lake residential is the more important one, and maybe we start, on the back shelf, look at the permitting process for something, for flat work, just.
And that's probably gonna be the bigger issue with getting contractors. And I would like to invite some people to that, to have an actual meeting like this, put them on the docket and be like, all right, contractors, tell us how you would have us do it, because we gotta do something. So we wouldn't care about the numbers, we wouldn't take advice from that, but the process to how they work other places, we might be interested.
And maybe it's not as practical here. I mean, in Allen County, it's curbs and stuff like that, and ADA compliance stuff, which is all important, but I mean, we don't have as much of that here. It's just, I think if we close the lake residential loophole, sorry, I'm sitting slouching. If we close the lake residential loophole, I think that might, remove a lot of the issues. So
Yeah, let's start working on
maybe
it.
the permits are.
I just want to say thank you to Don, because if this works, we have been banging our head against the wall for years on this one. And if we can just go under the assumption, then they might as well make it concrete. So,
Actually.
but it would still be less concrete than there would be now.
99%.
It's just
Exactly.
it's just not the lakes, it's just the people around them.
Yeah.
The lakes can stay.
Jeff, you had your hand up before. Did you have a comment about this one?
I was thinking that
This is,
I have a daughter who lives out in Colorado Springs. Their problem is lack of work.
Yeah.
And their new subdivisions, they are given strict requirements as to how much grass. I think it's 600 square foot of grass only per house. So much in the front, so much in the back. You have to have this type of aggregate to cover the soil, this number of plants, number of trees, etc.
that's by ordinance and not by a neighborhood association?
Probably both, just because they have a lot of water problems out there. They're splitting the Colorado River up in many divisions. Are putting in a brand new lake right now just to store all that stuff. But any new subdivision going in has strict requirements. And I was just trying to think how, if we wanted to do that with the driveways and so forth, I was just trying to, back engineer it, and maybe just coming up with the solution that we just had. That might be a good way of approaching it.
And based on that, the last floodplain video we watched, and we're entering a 10-year drought phase. We're going to do all this, and then for the next decade, people are going to call us stupid. But on that 11th year, we're going to look like heroes.
There's a lot of water here.
Well,
Now, we were in southern Indiana where they don't have any water.
what I understand is we're actually getting less, and Jim may know this, I've heard we're getting less water, but it's coming down all the buckets.
Yep.
So we're not getting those sprinkling, refreshing aquifer rains we need. We're getting deluges and then nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to add to the flood that's stormwater.
Yes. Okay, so that's all we've got. Any announcements for the good of the board? No?
Just a couple suggestions. You talked earlier about chickens and cows. You might think about doing it by legs.
Count the legs, divide by however many they should have.
Well, but you can have a set of rules for 2-leggers and have a set of rules for 4-leggers. So that way you can separate the things that are very high number from the things that are relatively low numbers. That's one way to do it. Because I'm pretty sure there's no 4-legged turkeys.
There are 4-legged rabbits. and I
That's
hear
not to say the
the
like rabbits.
aquaculture out here is coming next.
Fish don't have any feet.
There's always a way around it, but I'm just suggesting that may be a way to approach that issue. And another thing, you were talking about Crocs and Ditch, it's not getting better.
So,
I watch the data on a pretty regular basis, and it's not getting better.
We're just talking about it. Well, I mean, at this point, they've only taken away the bovine.
Well, I think I made the assumption that when the cows went away, that E. coli go down.
Right, and it hasn't, yeah, correct, that's what we were just talking about Saturday.
So anyway, 4 and 2.
Good suggestion. It's noted. It'll be in the minutes.
yeah, I'm getting it right now. So I have one question.
Can you teach a cow to walk on 2 legs?
I grew up on a big farm, no.
They did the far side.
I apologize that I don't remember the exact, you're unsafe that you asked in your budget for the 25.
Mhm.
It has not been solidified yet because our final reading is at our next meeting, but yours was lowered from 25 to 20. So my question is there a big thing there that I need to make that I I couldn't I said, it's so he can clean up. And they were like, why can't he clean up with 20 instead of 25? So I'm asking you to educate me a little bit more on whether or not I need to bring that back up for discussion with council.
Yeah, the reason we went to 25 is we basically double. I thought we had 12.5 when we had 12, so I should have asked for 24. That's on me instead of 25. I did the math wrong. But the reason we did that was we were figuring, well, we're working with 12.5 now, we're doing all the tire days and no cleanups. So we figured if we did the tire days, asked for the money back like we did historically, added to 12.5 we had there, we could get 2 projects done.
So it will keep you from doing 2 projects.
It could keep us to 1 project instead of 2.
And then it's not enough to do a half project either.
Or you'd have to sacrifice the tire cleanups and the other.
No, but what he's saying is you're gonna do your tire cleanups, but ask for the money back from us that comes into general
And
from
historically,
the.
I've asked, and you've given it to me.
Okay, and that's usually about how much?
Probably like $2,000 is what we're talking to lose. Because we do lose some because we do it to help chip out to some extent because they have that Quonset hut or that old pipe full of tires that they pull out of ditches and, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So what basically we do when we have the tire day out there at his place, people pay for the tires he get rid of and then kind of we pay to get rid of his tires. And then that's kind of the money we ask for back is the money, the difference between what we collected and what we spent. And that usually comes to what, $2,000 is what we usually ask for back, and we usually spend about 35.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was, I'm sorry, it was just one of the few things that a different council member that they cut. And it was a weird year.
I can do way more with $20,000 than I can 12. I can answer that. Will I be able to do 2 full cleanups? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. The problem is a lot of that is the prices going up so quick that the last tiny little place I cut down was like $14,000 and the last house we took down was a big house and it was very expensive. So
Okay,
and that's the tear down's a separate thing, cleanups, but it's
but you
gonna run
could
about the
always
same
come back to us also, right?
If we had one
you
to do.
knew that you had one to do, you would tell me, and then you could come and we could talk about doing an additional appropriation.
I will give you a bag of full-size Slim Jims during our conversation.
No, but I think that it's
Yes.
important. I'm just
Right.
trying to figure out if the fight needs to happen right now. Or if, would we know, do you know that we have 2 projects you need to do
Oh,
next
I've
year?
got probably 20 I could do, but I don't know the price. So I would love to pound my fist and say, dag nabbit, Christina, but no, 20, I'll make it work. I'll do what I gotta do. I don't know the answer to that.
But I don't want it to
$5,000
hold us back. I would like you to do, if you have several, I would like us to do 2. I support you and let's get 2 done and see what that looks like.
Well, what'll help is if we get something in the hopper this year and then next year happens and the money's there, we can move on that pretty quick. And then we know what it costs. If it costs $20,000 to clean that one up, well, guess what? 25 was too low an estimate. If it costs $5,000 to clean up, we can do 4.
Okay.
So we'll see. Yeah, that would
Okay,
be the
so
only
you
really
and I
test.
can talk about that as it moves. Okay.
Do
Okay.
those projects go out for bid? Who cleans them up?
They have gone out for bid in the past, and the problem we've had is getting people to do them. So, I mean, Julian's done one. I don't know, Jim ever did one for us?
It's an
Clean up,
RFP.
state bidding process.
Tear down?
Not a house, like a dirty property.
I like to put it out.
We did.
You put a house, okay.
Yeah, I need to put a few houses
You know, we did houses back in the day a lot more, but that's kind of drained. Because that was a non-revert, it still is a non-reverting fund that comes out of our reinspection fees. We had it built up to like $30,000, but then the last couple we tore down, we didn't get any money back. We're supposed to collect that money back, and when they go up for like sheriff sale or whatever, yeah, we don't get our money. That's, I think what I just gave Don was the thing where the other attorney saying, please don't ask for that money because you're not gonna get it. I'm sure there's a technical term for that piece of paper.
Goes to tax sale or sheriff sale.
Yeah.
Either one, you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, if those happen, you're done.
yeah, we're not getting money, and that's what's happened the last couple times, so.
That's too bad.
We're pretty depleted in that account. We're gonna build it back up and then take them out for bids again.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's the thing, when we first discussed this and doubling it, it meant, for 2 projects. So I think that if they're gonna, if you still think you can operate at 20,000, but not 2 projects, that kind of defeats,
What I know I can do is one project, and I can talk to Christine about others if we need additionals, because we'll get it in well before addition. But that first project, and that might tell us a lot, like seriously, if it costs $20,000 for one of those, we're gonna have to start talking hundreds of thousands. We don't know that. I know they're gonna be more than 5, and they're probably gonna be about 12, but.
So do you have like a file of these are the ones that are my problem children that need to be
We
cleaned?
got a file of ones, these are the old ones, and we have one we're working on right now, and I haven't been promised any money, but the commissioners are gonna try to help because it's a big issue out by a lake where it's a very messy place, so they're kind of working with me on that one.
Do you guys take feedback from the commissioners. Again, it's the same good questions, like, okay, how many issues are out there and what districts for the commissioners do they belong to? And, how much does it affect, having one project or two projects? Does it take some weight off of all of the commissioners or one in particular that has?
The commissioners have money in there. Seated money that they could use for that purpose. If they don't have another purpose, I mean, there's limited funds and all kinds of projects, as Christine knows. But
There's lots of projects.
if I went to them, as well as the additional appropriation track, they do have some funds, especially toward the end of the year that may be available.
I mean, we hear about them, you hear about them. Do, council people hear about cleanup, the commissioners hear about it?
Commissioners.
No, so I mean, so, but again, we hear about it. It's like, why does it take so long? Or why doesn't this happen? Blah, blah, blah. So I've assured people that, Clint asked for more so we could have a little bit more, another project that would gain that visibility. But I also like the idea that money can come back, to the building department for that,
Yes, which that will come in front of us, that I will have a voice about. I don't get as much, you have to remember I'm a lonely councilwoman.
Yeah, no, I like it.
But I like to be informed because then it's part of the bigger plan of how we do things moving forward with the money. So.
And that'll be, that'll kind of hold our feet to the fire too, to get that first one done and get it done right. I have an idea of which one it'll be. I can't always guarantee that because sometimes, and that's another thing with this, money's part of it. The other part of it, how they ebb and flow. Don will tell you, he writes them a letter. They do a really good job cleaning up about half the property. It looks promising. We're like, okay, hold off. We're not going to expend our money and waste our time. And then it's 10 times worse than it was. And then next thing you know, they're fifth on the list instead of first.
Yeah, and it's such a paper game trying to get people to do what they're supposed to do.
You give them 30
Which
days. to
takes
do
you,
something.
and you have to
Yeah.
come back, and you have to come back, and you have to come back. So I'm not saying that it's easy. I just was trying to understand the process. So when we talk about the money side, that I can talk intelligently about it.
You got it.
That's it.
I have faith in you.
Yeah. Good. Okay, any other announcements? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So move second, discussion on adjournment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
I'll tell you that he hooked me on to my daughter. So I just wanted to tell you.
Day after, no, Raycross.
Hey, yes. Charlie, you going back to my class view?
And so she.
I think it's, I know one speed.
And then.
Yes.
All right.
For admin. In a letter from himself, basically saying it's. Jake, no.
I apologize, I thought, oh, Dad, I don't know why I thought. Well, then I'm glad she's still connected.
All right, you're on the site, we're gonna find.
So you're Jim, don't go anywhere.
Take it away.
I'm fine.
Yeah, and here's what I agree, that's what it's like. It's playing out there.
Okay, and then I saw your wife working the gate, so I just.
You were checking
I really meant to give you the thing.
Can I do it?
I was so bad, Jeff, I think the reason is because you at night and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you forgot it.
Plan commission meeting, that's not good. Good.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you as well.
I told you to say what it said, but I still don't buy it.
It's good to say for accessory buildings only, but that's not one of those two. So he's like, hey, telling me they can put a whole house on each one of these, and I was like, right. Because I agree with you.
You can't prohibit them from dividing it. But the use is a separate issue.
Yeah.
But it looks like our subdivision control ordinance says the use is okay too.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, that's ready to know.
it's too late. These planning statutes,
Oh, is that beautiful?
they're not designed for 100%
Same thing.
every situation you could.
Oh, yeah, but that's probably for the best, really.
Yeah.
Because I remember our old ordinance, they had like shoe millinery or cobbler shops and millinery supply, and we're like, hold on, we gotta ask for one of those. According.
Oh, you don't.
Were you around when we had the big discussion that lasted for months about the adult cabaret?
No, that must have been probably by the time the Top Secret was opening up out there, or whatever, but no, I was not.